Um,
mhm.
Shout out, congratulations to the founder, Dr. Batmus, and all the pioneers who started with us a year ago.
Mhm, 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 mhm. It was well attended yesterday. You know, I think we have over 200 people attended the event yesterday. Over 200 people attended the event yesterday. So it was mind blowing, and I think it's a good one. I don't know. I don't know if let's just dive into it. Um, Once we go live now, I'm going to we're going to have
You're alive.
you're gonna
You're alive. You're alive. You're
okay.
alive, sir.
Excellent day to you all from everywhere you're listening to me from. This is Dr. Adekunle Badmos, the global president of the Global Cluster. It's Mind Surgery Revolution of the Global Cluster, and we're excited about this new year. We've just spent, this is the second day of the new year, and we are super excited. We know this year we're focusing on two major things: the certificate revolution of the global clusters and the ARE. But it's our mind surgery revolution. Everything starts from the mind. To even think of you sabine anything, you have to it start from your thought process. So before we go on, we're going to have our video first, then we will have the 001 give us the intro, then we'll have our guest speaker. So let's have the video of the mind surgery, and from after the video, we'll have the intro from the 001, then the guest speaker
Imagine a world where your
for the mind surgery. Let's have the video, please.
Imagine a world where your mind is your greatest ally. Welcome to the Mind Surgery Revolution by the Global Clusters. This movement is all about transforming your inner world, building mental resilience, cultivating mindfulness, and overcoming the barriers within. At Global Clusters, we believe in the power of introspection and self-awareness to heal, elevate, and empower. Through emotional intelligence and cognitive growth, we can unlock our full potential and face life's challenges with clarity and strength. Think about it. Leaders today are overwhelmed by expanding expectations and digital distractions. But by prioritizing core values and focusing on what truly drives us, we can navigate this complex world with ease. The history of neurosurgery, with pioneers like Harvey Cushing, shows us the incredible advancements in understanding our brains. Similarly, the mind surgery revolution invites you to revolutionize your mindset, just as brain surgery has revolutionized treatment. Even cutting-edge brain-computer interfaces are showing us the limitless potential of the brain's plasticity. But it's not just about technology. Holistic health approaches, like those from Dr. Rangan Chatterjee, emphasize the crucial connection between mind and body. Transform your mind, and you'll transform your world. Be part of the mind surgery revolution by joining us at theglobalclusters.org. Stay tuned for updates, events, and tools to elevate your mental resilience and well-being. Every meeting matters. Don't miss your chance to grow with us.
Don't miss your chance to grow with us. Let's have the 001 mind surgery give us the intro, then we have our guest speaker, comrade Bashar Polaji Israel today. And we saw him well when he was moderating yesterday. He really moderated so well, and he's going to be our guest speaker today. We're going to learn how was he able to grow from you know childhood to a teenager to a youth, and I was able to do it. So let's have the 001 mind surgery give us the intro, then we'll have our guest speaker.
Again, congratulations to all the clusterians. Congratulations to our guests. We want to thank everyone, those who were able to celebrate our anniversary yesterday, which was 7/6/2025. We started this journey last year on July 6, 2024. And we must thank
God, some people say the universe, that we're here, that we have been impacting lives. We've impacted our own life because, as we know, everything starts with us. We must start with ourselves. The mind surgery sessions are always so beneficial simply because we are using live human beings who some of us know, some of us don't know, but had to become their own surgeon based on circumstances, maybe such as the home environment, maybe the country itself. Even in my case, a lot of people may not believe it. It has not been easy for me as an African American growing up during the 60s in the middle of civil unrest, and also at a time where all odds were against me. Growing up in an environment at many times, the place, unfortunately, because we do know we have great leaders in the inner cities all over the world, but growing up in a place like Baltimore City, where the odds were most people, most teenagers during that time were not going to make it. So I had made it. At this stage, I'm a grandparent, happily married with 3 children and 4 grandkids. So I did beat the odds. And all this had to do was my thought process and being a surgeon. So we invite our guests who did an outstanding job yesterday. Outstanding. And we're looking forward to listening and also learning and applying whatever we learn to our situation. So thank you.
Amazing, amazing. We want to apologize to one person to actually leave the studio for the guest to come in. Our guest is trying to come in, but because the studio is full, and we just need someone to volunteer. I don't know, so that we can have our guest. So that our guest can come in. The person can actually watch live on YouTube or Facebook on or X. So let's have our guest is comrade Basharon uh Bolaji Israel. Uh have you accepted him in? He's trying to come in. The host should accept um comrade Basharon in. The mind surgery revolution, it's a revolution where everything starts from. Even the global cluster starts from the thought process, start from our mind. We're thinking about it. And the 002 mind surgery revolution put it well and said everything starts from the mind process. That is Clostridium Amazu Uku. You understand? And he explained it so well. And if you did not participate in the anniversary of yesterday, you need to go to the YouTube and watch this. You need to do that because it's really, really very important. While we wait for our guests, we are waiting for um Comrade Basharon Bolaji. Once it comes up, then we have him so that we can dive into it. He was in before, and I was trying to check on him, and he went out of the app and trying to get in. He said the thing is full. So let's try to admit him in. That is comrade Bolaji Bashorun. So, as I was saying, Cluster Namazu really put it well and said, everything on earth starts from the thought process. And yesterday, you know, it's like one attending an Harvard, lecture from the panelists. They all brought their wealth of experience, their wealth of discoveries, and I can tell you, if not for the celebration, the dancing, the merriment, and all of those things. You need to go back to that anniversary and watch that section. That section, it's mind surgery on its own. You understand? It's something that it will provoke something inside of you. I can tell you that free of charge. It's something that everyone listening to me right now, you need to watch the panelist section of the first year anniversary of the global clusters. Yes, you need to watch it. So do we have him? Do we have um Basharun in now? Do we have him? Um, do we have Basharun in? Can the host respond to me, please? Do we have Basharun in right now? So once we have Basharun in, we want to bring him on the spotlight so that we can have him share his own story, so that he's the mind surgeon of the day. Do we have Basharun Olaji Comrade? So, as I was saying, it's something that everyone needs to actually rewatch, even if you're part of the program. You understand? You need to go and rewatch that panel section, because I did that yesterday. When I got home, I had to tune into it again and I had to rewatch this. And the reason is that, like we've said, your mind is like a being on its own. Your mind is a being, is like a being. Just like you feed to look fresh, just like you rub cream on your body. You understand? Just like you do, the mind adds its own ingredients to be able to, like, be healthy. You understand? And what will make it healthy is you know, watching such conversation, just like the one that happened yesterday. You understand? So when you feed your mind with such things, because you are who you are based on what you listen to, what you watch, you understand, and the things you are engaged in. So that's what largely determines who you are. So you must understand these things, because you must engage to be able to, like, feed your mind with the right ingredient. Critical thinking, it's one of the right ingredients to feed your mind with. Creative thinking is one of the things. Innovative thinking is one of the things. Thinking out of the box completely is one of the things. Imagining the world, like we were in a meeting and someone was talking about a a technology, like something that can generate power from a still water, and I was like, whoa! So the energy of the vapor, you know, taking it, converting it to, electric, and reserving some to operate the machine, taking some to the grid, and all of those things. It's another mind blowing thing. So you need to engage yourself in possibility, engage your mind in possibilities. You understand? So and it's really, really very, very, very important. Oh, he said it's him. Where is our host? Our host should try and bring him in. And so he said his microphone is not unmuting. I don't know. So you see this technology sometimes. It's just to click to unmute it.
Sorry,
Um,
he's out. When he comes in, I'll bring him up, sir.
oh, it's out. Oh, um,
Network. But anytime he comes in, I'll just bring him up immediately, sir.
okay. You mean his network is maybe because he does not know how to use this the app. Maybe he is new to the app, you know because he's new to the app, maybe because he's new to the app. So maybe because he's new to the app, maybe because he's new to the app. So You need to feed your mind with the right ingredient, with the right stories. You know, you need any story you listen, you need to learn some things from it. You listen to a bad story, check what makes it what it is. You understand? Check what makes it what it is. When you listen to a good story, check how this story came by. You understand? Drive a case study from it. Drive a case study from it. And both stories can actually perform mind surgery on you. I've seen elderly people, still struggling to look for driving work. You understand? Still struggling to feed their family, still struggling to even feed themselves. And all of these things, you know, if you look at the way it is, it sent a signal to anyone that cares to know or that cares to, you know, take cognizance of what we're talking about. Because uh, people, I was discussing with somebody and I said, do you know in this country, when you see any successful human being in Nigeria that really succeed doing the right thing, the person have put in a lot of work. They have put in a lot of work, a lot of hard work has been put in for them to get to where they are. And the reason being that because the way the system is, the way the nation is, requires you to work extra, require you to put in more hours to be able to you know, get to the place you want to get to. Um, Taking a case study from my life, from the life of some of our friends, and we have seen that have scaled through life. It requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of perseverance. It requires a lot of patience. You don't, and that is why the mining we are doing in the global clusters is not something that is a joke. We are not joking here, and we can see how it has impacted people, that are part of the community. There is no one that is part of this community that are not being added onto on a regular basis. People are saying that, okay, we all need to come together to share opportunities with one another, to share our stories, to share how did we all get there. You know, uh, uh, um, I, I will, because we are waiting for our guest speaker and he's not here. I'll quickly dive into something. Not in this today's my surgery. I want to say this: not making the old mistakes. Avoiding old mistakes, the kind of mistakes you have made before. You understand? Some people, you will see something will happen to them. They will say again, why is this thing happening to me? You did something, and you plan a particular road, and you see that you know you just find yourself on that pedestrian again. Avoiding it will go a long way to push you to the next level of your life. If you have to make a mistake, let it be a new one. Let it be the one that you have never seen before. But always learn from what you have gone through before. Learn how to, you know, take, you know, watch process. A lot of people don't know that gathering like this, that is where champions are made. You know, the word. I remember when we're trying to start the global clusters, and it was somebody bringing a concept from Portugal and all of that. And I was like, Portugal this, Portugal that. And a word came from a close friend. and said, "Oh, this idea, yes, you have added some ingredient to it that makes sense, but taking everything to Portugal, it does not really make sense. What are you trying to do with Portugal? What's wrong with Nigeria?" And it was like that singular word. Then, as if it's not enough, another friend that did not see themselves mentioned the same thing. I said, "Whoa!" So, just a sentence can be something that will change the narratives. Just a sentence. 1 minute, please.
Thank you. Host, kindly mute others, please, as we await the global president. Host, kindly mute others.
All right. I think we're going to have our guest speakers from the phone because he's trying to actually come in on mute. His browser is not allowing him. So let's have um, comrade Bolaji Israel to speak to us now. And I'm going to be, transferring from my end. So you can put me on the spotlight while he speaks. Over to you, comrade.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope we can hear me. Can someone just respond?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. It's clear.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. I say excellent morning to all of us. This blessed, beautiful morning and this new week. It's a pleasure to be here on this program. I do not take it for granted. May I just take this moment quickly to appreciate my friend and brother, Global President Dr. Adekunle Badmus, for his vision and his energy and his enthusiasm. And I also want to quickly thank all the big engines that are also making the global clusters to function well. I say congratulations to all of us and well done on the anniversary celebration yesterday. For me, it was a beautiful experience, and having the opportunity to moderate that session of very erudite panelists, it was a great and refreshing one. My name is Bolaji Israel Bolaji Badamosi. So sometimes my friends mix up the name with the way my name is, but just call me Comrade Bolaji, that's fine. I am a chief, I'm a Basharon in Ekiti land. So that's where the Basharon comes in. So that said, just to break the ice, let me move on into the subject of the day. And I know that it's an opportunity that we all have in this mind surgery session, just to spark conversations around the profound power of the mind and the mindset. And from all that was shared yesterday at the panel and that we've all been listening to as clusterians, all of us, it's important that we understand that the power of the mind cannot be overemphasized. So we cannot say too much about the mind because, as the Bible says, faith comes by hearing and by hearing. So when something is important, we need to keep hearing it over and over again. Most importantly, because we live in a time of distraction. So there are a lot of distractions for all of us. So regardless of the level that you are in life, whether you are a young executive working in a company, whether you are a civil servant, whether you are an entrepreneur who's trying to find your path in life, you are trying to offer value, or whether you are even a young school leaver just out of secondary school and you are looking at what direction you need to take in life, you must understand that you would encounter a lot of distraction. There are usually a lot of distractions, and if care is not taken, this can take us off our track. So it's a great privilege to have a platform like this where over and over again you can be refreshed about the need to use your mind as the headquarters, as the control room, as the CPU. We are all familiar with called the CPU of the computer, which is the central processing unit. That's where everything that is done on the computer is orchestrated from. So everything, it runs from there. It is the same thing for us as human beings. Our mind is the CPU. So everything, again, permit me, I like to reference the Bible and a lot of classical example again. Jesus was questioned once about some things. And then he said, for me, that his standard is not just what you do. The standard is from the mind. So he now said, whoever tells his brother, Raka, that's like you are cursing someone, the person is already guilty of murder. And they were asking him why. He said, because before you kill someone, it must have been premeditated from the mind. So if you are looking at someone you are cursing, it shows, what you have in the mind. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So the heart, the mind, whatever they churn out, is the function. What you're having is what you churn out. So that I don't believe that. So in essence, the power of the mind, it cannot be overemphasized. And we need to keep hearing things like this every now and then. So I say we are lucky to have this privilege and opportunity. Straight into Comrade Bola Israel. Currently, I want to thank God for my
Comrade,
journey so far.
sorry, sir. 001 my surgery, ma. Kindly mute, ma. Ma. Dr. Mitchell, ma. Kindly mute. Thank you. Dr. Mitchell? Dr. Mitchell? Please mute the 001 my surgery, please.
Thank you, Dr. Badmus. I could hear some interference of a cutlery.
Yeah.
I think Dr.
Host,
Mitchell is running some kitchen or table affairs there.
What you can
please,
do, the host, is to take her out of the spotlight first and bring her back during the contribution, please. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go ahead, please.
go on, sir.
All right, thank you, Dr. Badmus, for that. I hope I'm still clear and audible to
Yes.
all the listeners.
Yes. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. So that's more like an introduction to start up the conversation. Yes. So who is Basorun Komri Bolaji is Badamosi? I am a young man. I'm young at heart. As it was read in my profile yesterday, I am a writer. I'm an author. I'm a publicist. I'm a journalist. I am a corporate and marketing communications professional. And I belong to a lot of professional organizations which I have joined in the course of my 20 years career in the in the private sector. I worked largely in the private sector. I've not worked in the public sector so much, though I started my career as a lecturer. During my youth service days, I lectured at the Federal Polytechnic Bida in Niger State, and I was retained after my session there. So I lectured for another year, but I was falling sick, so I had to leave lecturing, which is my first love. And then I returned back to Lagos to pursue my interest in writing and in corporate and marketing communications. But to the glory of God today, I thank God. I run my company, which is called the Cream Influence Strategies. Is a reputation and public relation and communication consulting firm. We are also into media and into publishing. Aside that, I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm into real estate, into energy, education, and a whole number of things. Providing value in across various capacities. And I'm also not just doing all of this. I'm also giving back to the society through my foundation called the SOSAPS Initiative. SOSAPS is Skill Over Substance and Paradigm Shifts Initiative. So what do we do? I was privileged to be in a place where I'm close to a lot of boys in the neighborhood. Boys in some neighborhood, where I've had to do some projects. And I saw the impact of drugs, and how drug has become like pop culture now. So every 10, 11-year-old boy in some of these neighborhoods in Lagos and some other ones, they are seeing drugs like the next thing to jump onto. So just like when we are growing up as young boys, the way you look forward to growing your first strand of beers, I see that these days, boys, 11, 10, 12, they are looking forward to testing and having their first drag of marijuana or these more dangerous ones, colos, and these other dangerous illicit substances. So, and I saw that, in my corporate experience and my interaction, working in the last 20 years plus, that technology is the way out. So what I'm doing in essence in my foundation, I'm taking, boys, I'm taking drugs from them and giving them technology. In essence, that's what we are doing. We're helping them, introducing them to platforms where they can get empowered with technology, and then in the process, take drug away from them. So those that are young is in two-pronged. Those that are young, we're telling them you don't have to join that wagon. And those that are in it, we're encouraging them that they can change. So that's what essentially that foundation is about, the SOSAPs. I'm also involved with some other foundations, a number of them, and they cut across different things. But SOSAPs, which is my main foundation, that's what we do. So having said this, you understand that so my space cuts across writing, publishing, corporate communication, marketing communication, media, and journalism. So as I share my experience, you see that a lot of the things that I'll be saying will be around that space. But most importantly in life, I'd like to tell us that, yes, that's the field where I play, and also as a businessman. But I want to tell everybody listening to me this morning that the essentials for success remain the same. Daniel Carnegie, many other authors that I've read, have realized that the essential for success are the same. So the principles for succeeding, for doing the right thing, remain the same, regardless of your industry. Whether you are an entrepreneur and a corporate and marketing communications person like myself, or you are like Dr. Mary, the chairperson, NAPS, who spoke very passionate. Regardless of, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Some calls were coming in, so it's Monday morning. Some calls are coming, a lot of calls. I'm cutting the call. So just permit it when you have those drop. I'm cutting off those calls. Calls are coming in. All right. So I'm saying that the essentials for success remain the same. Whether you are an entrepreneur like myself, whether you are a civil servant like many of our distinguished clusterians, whether you are a young executive working in a company, whether you are a young school leaver, or whether you are even a teenager or a retiree, because there is no time that is late in life to do whatever we want to do. But the point is that always, the best time to start is always now. So it's important that we understand that whatever we want to do, at every point, there is no need saying, oh, it's late, or it's gone, or this is undoable, I can't do it. You can always do whatever you want to do. But the most important thing is that we get the essentials of success right. And I've said that the essentials of success, they are the same. Whether you are, irrespective of whatever industry or any space where you are playing, the essentials of success remain the same. And I've seen this as a young man who loves to read, as a man growing up over the years and reading. One of the things that interests me in life is reading about great people. And I've realized that most of them, their stories have some similarities. There are a lot of semblances in their stories. And that's why, even when you are listening to some of the conversations, I've been privileged to speak and work with business leaders, CEOs, billionaires. I've worked closely with them in my corporate career, and I realized that all of them, the things I've heard them say, the essentials for success are the same. By the way, as I said, I started my career lecturing, and then I joined, media organization. I started working with a magazine in Surulere. I moved to Daily Independent. I began to move from one media house to the other, some of the major newspaper organizations that we know. And from there, I moved into corporate and marketing communications fully. And then, from one to another.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. But I want to ask a question while you're speaking so that you can take us through that route. What's your childhood like?
My style.
Your childhood. What is it like?
My childhood.
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to get there. Okay. I'm going to get there. Okay. I'm going to get there in a bit. Childhood. Okay. But what I was saying, what I'm trying to do is that, because the story is very long also, but what I'm trying to do is, I was waiting to get into my point. So as I mentioned one of the points, I then reference my experience.
Yes. All right.
But I'll talk about that briefly.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, sir. So, okay, I'll do that, sir. So, I was saying that my experience has cut across working with various corporate organizations and before setting up mine. So my experience that I'm sharing today is a combination, a function of the corporate sector experience and then my experience as an entrepreneur. So that whether you are an entrepreneur or you are a corporate executive, you'll be able to relate with where I'm coming from. That's why I made that point. Directly into my childhood. I was born, bred and raised in Lagos. I'm born to a Lagos Island royalty father. I come from a popular chieftaincy home on the island. My mom is from Ogun State, but I don't want to bore us with all of that. I want to take some key things. Looking at my life, I want to say that all of us, as I said, that the essentials that we need to succeed in life are the same. These essentials for success, they are the same for all of us, because whether you are someone who grew up from a very poor background, or you are someone like me who is slightly privileged, you will see that you still need these things. And that's the angle I want to come from. So I was born to, as I said, a father who is from a chieftaincy home on Lagos Island, but who is a soldier, and a mother who was a civil servant, a director in the Ministry of Education in Ogun State at the time, but she was also an entrepreneur. She had businesses that she was doing. She was into supply of stationaries. And that's the first thing that introduced me into entrepreneurship. Watching my mom come back from the office and then opening the family bookshop in the afternoon, in the evening, just staying out doing that. That was, and then at some point, at a young age, I was pushed into managing that bookshop, and getting into the affairs. That was my first encounter with entrepreneurship. So my first point there is that it's important that whether it's for us or it's for young ones around us, it's important that we begin to introduce them. Some of the little things that make me today are the things that I've encountered growing up. Number one, entrepreneurship. I encountered it because my mom, pushed me into the family business, even as a secondary school student. So I was involved in buying and selling, and I was seeing how she was running supply of stationaries to schools, to ministry, despite our work rising as a senior civil servant in service. That's the first one. But let me say some things that I'll be mentioning. I'll be using my growing up experience to reference them. So I've mentioned entrepreneurship. I'll speak about resilience. Resilience worked for me a lot. The right attitude is important. People, skills, collaboration, reading, and quest for knowledge and excellence. These are the things that for me, I feel that they have helped me to get to where I am today. Number one, I said resilience, attitude, people, skills, collaboration, reading, and model. These are the things that have helped me. So as I tell my story, because I just don't want to tell my life story, I want to tie my stories to each of these points that have helped my journey. So I spoke about my mom being, yes, a civil servant, a senior civil servant, but was still doing business. So many, many years ago, when nobody was talking about having side hustle, or, when we didn't have all this fad about entrepreneurship or about people having multiple streams of income, my mom did. And that helped me, it introduced me to entrepreneurship. And it has worked really well for me. Let me tell you another point. My second point is resilience. So resilience, how did resilience play out in my life? As I said, um, growing up in Lagos, my father is a soldier, so we're moving with him. We're moving a lot. I can tell you, I attended about 7 primary schools. So that's why I don't write it in my certificate today. I attended about 7 primary schools because I don't even know which one to write. As my father was being moved from one place to another as a soldier, we're following him. He was moved to Kaduna. We joined one school. He was moved back to Agege. As he was moving, we're moving. At some point, my mom said, no, we're not moving again. So, but the thing is that, that sort of, exposed me into, okay, this, that, and changing and having to adapt to new environment, new school. Eventually, I finished at a school in Yanopaja. But just that moving around and all around. But where am I getting to? Talking about resilience. Growing up, yes, I was very privileged. At some point, I had to move. I moved to a secondary school in Ogun State because of my mom's influence in Ogun State. Things were doing very fine. In fact, in my junior secondary school years and my secondary school days, they called me Arowo Yabuno. Arowo Yabuno in English is a Yoruba word expression. What it means is he who has access to mom's money to spend, he who has access to his mother's money to spend. I was the lavishing guy among my friends in my secondary school days. So I was used to mom giving us everything that we needed. Yes, we are not a president's son, we're not governor's son, but we're comfortable. I mean, conservatively, we're comfortable. Things were not rough. However, resilience is still very important because while that was going on, I was already used to spending and enjoying things. Fast forward, I got into Kwara State Polytechnic. And then I did my 2 years and I was still enjoying. There was money to spend and everything I needed. Everything was fine. When I finished, I joined I got admitted into University of Ilorin. Now, when I got admission into the University of Ilorin, immediately, the hopes were high, everything was good. I was used to enjoying things. my first year, a few days to my matriculation, when I was already looking forward to, wow, okay, everything as usual, gather my friends, we're going to have fun, just what I was already used to in the bubble burst. My mom, around the time, spoke to me, and said, son, you know what? I want to retire from the civil service. And I said, oh. So I want to retire from the civil service because I realized that my business, yes, I'm a senior person. You know how much civil servants were paid then? It was good because inflation was not this bad. But I mean, she felt that in her business, according to my mom then, when she faces her business well, sometimes in 2 weeks, she makes her entire salary for 3 months in civil service. So my mom then decided that, okay, she's done many years, she's put in years and she has already reached pensionable years in civil service, that she would like to move fully into her business, her stationery supply business. And my mom did. She retired from civil service. She took that major leap and things were going well for the first 1 year. And suddenly, the katakata burst. What happened? As I said, just around the time when I was to do my matriculation, my first year in the university after the Polytechnic, my mom, had affiliation with some, if you're in service, you have some power brokers that you are affiliated with as against others. Unfortunately, the group that my mom was affiliated with lost access to power. And then a new pharaoh came up in Egypt. And then she was targeted. So they said where our business office was, she has 2 major stationery stores, very heavy one in Ogun State, close to Abeokuta. So they said the government needed that place. And in one day, our whole business was bulldozed, where she was making great money. I'm talking 1998. A place where she was making great money, 98, 99. Where my mom was making great money, the 2 buildings, the whole place was demolished by a government official. And that crashed our life. Because as I said to you, my father is a soldier, he's not always so around. And when he comes around, he's like, oh, it is your mama that's spoiling you. She gives you all the things. Hey, go to her. So, and then this mama that all of us were so comfortable and enjoying things, everything crashed. Things crashed, and he was like, wow, where do we turn to? These are boys that were used to at least getting the basic things, getting the basic luxury of life. Things became very tough and harsh to pay. In fact, thank God that I paid my first to pay my first year fee. Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes.
We can hear you.
All right. So things became so bad and rough, so much that matriculation, it was a morning time, compared to what I had in mind that it would be jamboree as usual. And then the reality of life dawned on me. It became a time to fend for myself for the first time. Mom was struggling. She had left the civil service and her business that was bringing in so much money that we're all enjoying. Everything was good. Everything just crashed. And then she started trying to, speak with her network, speak with her contact. And then I was on my own in Uniloring. Money was not coming from home as a young boy, but thank God because I had gone to the Polytechnic, at least I'm not so too, much of a novice. But then there was nothing. There was nothing. It was zero. And then she was always calling, calling to tell me, son, it got so bad. There was a day she called.
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello. Okay. Call is once calls comes in, that's when you have that short break. Sorry about that. Okay, so um and things were so bad, money was not coming again. And this was a guy that was already used to getting things, getting money, the whole thing scattered. I had to start fending for myself. And mom called me and said, son, if you have to come back home, come back home. Don't worry, you have another admission. I said, eh? I cannot lose my admission. Oh. And things became so rough. So what did I do? Some of the things that helped me at that time. So as a young boy, it was difficult. It was very tough. I could not take, I mean, I was in a strange land. It's a place where I don't have any family in Ilorin. I don't have anyone to support me, only my friends in the school. And here I am, I was already used to having things the smooth way and then nothing. And mom was calling that I should come back home. And I said, no. So what did I do? I resolved, to that human instinct to survival, to survive. I started taking, and thank God, God blessed me with some brain. So some of the things that I started doing at the time, I spoke with my departmental president at the time and said, this is what I'm going through. This is my challenge, this. And they were like, this is a serious one. But what did I do? I didn't fold my hands. I didn't give up. Because if I had given up, I probably would have gone back and my story would have been different today. Because mom had called that I should return that later and find a way to defy the admission. And I've seen people, their life get messed up at such point. But I thank God I didn't. So what did I do? I started taking coaching lessons. I started thinking, what can I do? So in my, in school, I started teaching my colleagues. As a year one student, I was teaching tutorials to other boys and girls who were I remember that throughout my year one, my first and second semester, it was girls in my class that were feeding me. You say, Prof, don't worry, come to our hostel, come and teach us. Prof, come and teach us. So once I go to the girls' hostel in the evening, I will teach all of everything that we learned in class that they don't know. I've read, I will teach 2-3 hours. And after I teach, I will eat and drink and I will get money. Thank God, knowledge helped me at that point. But most importantly, yes, knowledge was there. I thank God, God helped me. But it would have been difficult if I just gave up, if I didn't, exhibit resilience, if I just gave in to that situation and gave in to despondence. But I refused. And that's talking about power of the mind. I refused. I said, I'm not going back home. I must finish this degree. I've started. So I started teaching girls. I'll eat. I'll small money. Then in the evening, after my lecturing, I'll go to town. I'll teach secondary school boys English and literature. I'll too money. But I was gathering it together because I just felt that I must survive. I must survive. So year one, it was rough, but I completed it. Year two, my mom was, so worried. Are you surviving? How are you coping? Come home. I said, I'm not coming. And then the bills in my year two, the bills went higher because my rent that was paid initially too stopped. So I had to move out of the apartments that I got in Ilorin and move in. Sometimes I started squatting in the hostel. I had to move into school hostel with some friends. And the officials there, they were very harsh with squatters. If you are not registered there, what are you doing? So sometimes I remember I'll take my bag, go to the hostel, and then you're watching the officials. If they catch squatters here, there'll be problem. And I had to, at some point, my stuffs. I had a big radio system there because I love to listen to a lot of music. So my only property at some point was a big stereo that I bought at the Alaba market in Lagos that I used to listen to some music. I remember having to keep my things with like 3 friends in the school hostel because I could not pay. So what did I do? I resorted to going to town, started teaching people. Soon, somebody introduced me and said, BJ, I see that you are great, you are doing this and that. Can you be helping people, coaching? So there was an opportunity in Ilorin then at the police college. So where they do recruitment for police officers. This one is a very interesting, very funny one to tell you, but I will share it anyway. So I needed more money. And it was becoming difficult that this much more money I'm making that has been helping me and the girls have been feeding me. Yes, they are still doing it, but it was not enough. I needed more money. So a friend in Ilorin who is a police officer said, come, Prof, you are very brilliant now. You are very brilliant. I have people that used to write a police college exam. People come, a lot of people, they want to join the police and they needed to, pass their exams, but they don't pass well. But you have the skills that they have. What? I was very good with current affairs. Very good with current affairs. And I'll tell you how that happened. I was also good with, English. So, and the exams were current affairs and English. So let me backtrack slightly. I told you about my father that is a soldier. So one good thing I learned from my father is discipline. Discipline. My father is very disciplined. Every Saturday morning, I must polish his boots somewhere close by, and I must buy Guardian newspaper in the morning. Without fail, I did that for many days. And that is helping me up till today in terms of personal planning, that when you wake up, there is time to do this, there is time to do that. You must schedule your day, you must plan yourself. If you miss it by 2 minutes, this slap you get from my father for missing to polish his boots on Saturday morning and buying Guardian newspaper, you would think that I've committed a serious crime. If you see how I'll be dealt with. I remember that as a young boy of age 9, 10, my father would mandate me to listen to NTA News. That he may come late, but I should listen to NTA News and I must tell him the summary. And sometimes he will come, my mom will say, leave this boy alone now. What is your wahala with him? Say, no. And that was where I developed my interest in writing and news. From that young age, my dad said, so what did they say in the news today? That exposed me. That discipline also helped me. And it developed my interest in current affairs, which eventually became useful for me. So at that time, well, it's not a very, very good one, but I had to survive at the time. So they were paying me big money to do exam impersonation for police exam. I was being paid money to do current affairs and English because it was something that was needed and most people struggle with it. But because me, I knew it, so they were paying me 7,000. I remember then they paid me 7,000 to come and sit and write exam. I remember there was a particular day. I was there at the police headquarters in Ilorin and there to do exam impersonation for somebody. And while I was seated in the hall, one huge giant officer walked in and said, we know that some of you are machinery. If you know that you are machinery, can you look to your right and your left? The hall where to write the exam, is like, it's a hall. But to your left and right, because it was inside the state police headquarters, to your right is an underground cell. To your left is another underground cell. So and the man came and said, if you know you are here to impersonate anybody, you have the privilege to walk out now. Otherwise, your life will be damaged. And here I am, I'm thinking about my school fees. I don't want to go back to Lagos. I cannot leave University of Ilorin. So my mind was raging, I was sweating. It was a moment I will never forget in my life. Because if I walk out, exams were closed, my fee was not paid, there will be crisis. And here I am, if I get caught impersonating here, the underground cell to the right, underground cell to the left. Inside Ilorin State Police Headquarters. I said, whoa, or die, and I die. So I sat in, I wrote the exam, they came, they did whatever, they came around, they're looking at people, they're I got to control. I did it. I collected the money, and I was able to pay my fees. But, I'm just looking at the entire experience. While I'm not proud of what I had to do then to make money, it was also about survival at the time. And unfortunately, if I didn't, it probably would have scattered me because there was no help, there was nothing. So I look at this experience, another interesting one. Let me tell you another interesting experience. So I got scared of writing exam for people. After that encounter with police, I did it over and over and over again. And after I said, I'm not doing it again. I don't want to go to underground cell. How am I going to survive? So I finished year 2. Now in my year 3, I said, by then, mom was trying to stabilize. Things were gradually picking up. It was very rough 2-3 years, very rough. But mom was trying to, and then my younger ones were at home. I'm the first one of 4. We're all there. They have the other things. There's so many bills. As they say, we're already used to luxury and enjoying so much. So it was difficult to cut, to size at the time. So I then said, I'm not writing police exam again. So I switched to WAEC. I said, okay, let me help people to write WAEC exam. I went for that to do one. I had finished writing the exam for the person. Everything was good. One crazy invigilator came in. He was wearing, I don't know if the guy is a detective. As he was inside, was looking everywhere. He just came to me. I don't know why. Maybe because he realized that in a very short time, I had finished the whole thing because the deal was, Prof, going, write as many scripts as he can do. For the man that contracted me. So I was in a hurry. I finished while the young ones were still struggling. I finished everything for English. So they brought for the second candidate. I was already writing. So the man came. I think he saw that, this one you have finished quickly. So he collected the script. And then so he now sat beside me. He refused to go. He was wondering, this must be a machinery. So when the man turned around, I wanted to continue. I started washing him. At some point, I just realized that there is no way I will cope with this man. Before you say Jack Robinson, I jumped out of the window and ran away. And it was one village in Kwara, one deep village where I know nobody. So I jumped into a farm, got into the farm and started running. I didn't even know where I was running to because I was trying to escape from this man. These are very, very funny experience. I hope I'm stable.
Yes, yes, you can hear you.
Okay.
Wow.
So I jumped into the forest. I didn't know where I was for about 1 kilometer. I was just running. Because, they just lodged me in the village. It's a village somewhere in Kwara. Maybe Share or CS somewhere. I don't know the place. It's the guys that contracted me to be writing WAEC, English and literature for people. Because, that's my area. So, and it's only my brain I have to use to survive. So I jumped into the forest. I ran into some traps. Something caught my leg. No one will help me. I pulled it out, fell, stumbled, continued to run from the forest until at least I ran somewhere and I asked, hey, John Bodile Bane, where is the chief's house? I ran to the chief's house. They said, what happened? I'm on my way because I was wearing uniform because they gave me one school uniform I was wearing. Say, I'm on my way, what happened? I said, Baba, hold me. So, I ran there. I couldn't tell them what happened. Eventually, I got myself together, and then that's the end of the second one, writing WAEC. I'm not writing WAEC again to make money. So, after that encounter, let me tell you another encounter. I was talking about police exam. I was talking about WAEC. Another interesting one. So, I came back to Lagos. I think that's my year 3, 4th semester. I said, what am I going to do? Okay, I think we're going to resume year 3. I think that's year 3. I said, what am I going to do? And let me tell you something. In the midst of this whole thing happening, I was topping my class. As I tell you, in University of Ilorin, my department where I graduated from, there is no first class ever. And I made one of the best 2-1. Second class up, I made one of the best. Nobody has beaten the record till to date because there is no first class in the Department of English, University of Ilorin, Department of English and Modern European Languages, where I did my first degree. There is nobody that has made first class up until tomorrow. It's second class upper. That's second class upper. That's the highest so far. And with this, going through this as a young man, I still triumph academically. I was still able to keep my head. I don't miss classes. When I miss, I catch up. I go to library. I read. I was self-motivated. And I will still teach to get money, teach my colleagues, some of them for free. And I was doing all of this. And I was a major campus writer. I was running the notice boards at the University of Ilorin up until tomorrow. When you get to the Faculty of Arts, University of Ilorin, my pen name, the popular name is Professor Pen. That's my pen name. That's my pseudonym. I was the most popular writer on campus. most popular, and I was the overall best student in my department at the time. Though there were 2 guys, 3 of us were always, tugging for the top spot. But when you go to the notice board to see results, they say, Bolaji, okay, fella, there is a guy, but the guy is a Jehovah Witness guy. So we're always competing, me and him. And I'll say that the guy, I'm better than him because all he does is just read. And he's a Jehovah Witness. He doesn't fraternize, he doesn't drink, he doesn't do whatever. I was into all. I was doing well as a campus writer. I was into student unionism. I did student unionism from year 1 to student union government level. Even with all this, I was doing well academically. I was doing well politically in terms of my social consciousness at the university, and I was doing well socially. I mean, I had, boys, girls, friends, people around me. Let me get to this other experience I'd like to share. I know our time is far taking. It's so interesting just reminiscing. I've forgotten this. It's ambassador that made me to remember this experience. Now that you say, think about your childhood. Honestly, these things have not crossed my mind in the last 10, 15, 20 years again. I haven't remembered, I've forgotten this. But it's also so exciting, just remembering them again. All of us, and the power of, just, keeping it together and being able to triumph in the midst of serious travail. So it is doable. Regardless of whatever you are going through, the mind is the mind. So, year 3, first semester was coming, and I said, I don't want to do exam impersonation again. I don't want to do police exam impersonation again. By the way, I got many people into police service writing the exam at the time. I got many people. In fact, somebody I still know them that I wrote their entrance exam for them to get into police. But that's a different story today. Interesting. Now, I said, what will I do? I need to make money. So I came back to Lagos. My mom said, son, I know you've been trying. So how have you been coping? I explained to her, I'm teaching people lessons. So when I told her that I went to write exam for people that want to join police, and there was underground cell, she almost passed out. My mother almost collapsed when I told her the things I've had to do to survive, just writing exams here and there. I mean, it didn't go beyond that. Thank God it didn't go, but it was just having to do exam, for people here and there, teaching people. You understand? It was past that one. I said, no, you cannot do that again. Oh, these are some more. My boss electrician got to our house. Again, people. We must be mindful of how we relate with people. Everybody is useful. It's just that there is a day for every man. Nobody is useless. There is a day that you can make use of every man or woman. So my mom's electrician is a guy that comes around to fix things for us in the house. So, and people that are used to, artisans that work for you, people that work for you, and they just realize that, I say things are not, so rosy around there. So he came once, I think, to fix something for me, and he was like, brother, how far now? Students. I said, things are rough. He said, I know. Don't worry. He just encouraged me. Then he said, so what do you want to do? I said, year 3 is coming now, and mom is trying. She said she even get me out of the school, half of the school fees. What am I going to do? I said, I have to find somehow. I have to find something to do. And as a student, I can't go and take a job. I'm like, okay, what can I do quickly that I can make money? So he then said, if you don't mind, that I should follow him to his site. Can you imagine me? A boy that had all privilege, everything is good, everything is fine, we're living in our house. He said, I have to follow him to a construction site where they're working, somewhere in Ota. I will not forget. Somewhere in Ota. They were doing some major constructions. We got there. He's an electrician. So we got to the place, very large expanse of land. I don't know who owns the project. Very big acres of land undergoing construction at the time. So I got there to work, and then they said, what can you do? I said, me, I'm a student, so I can write, They say, that's not what we need here. So I now said, okay, so what can I do? He said, okay, the guy who is doing electrical, so the guy was not like, but what school? So they look at everything, they now say, okay, the only thing that is available for me is what is called shizzling. That was my first encounter. They said shizzling. chiseling is that, the concrete that are hardened in construction sites, the concrete that are being used. So there are some of them that are falling in the wrong places and they have become very thick, hard, extremely hard. So my role was to break those things with a chisel. A chisel. There's something called, there's an equipment they use, is like hammer. It's a chisel. So you use chisel and hammer to break concrete from rods, from iron rod. It was a horrible experience. For a boy from a privileged home who was used to having everything, I was doing it, I was breaking my fingers. I was in pain. I was crying. Because as I was doing that thing, having to use chisel to break the concrete, as I do it, as I'm doing it, before I knew it, I would hit my fingers. I'm trying to hit the hammer with the chisel, using the hammer to hit the chisel to remove the concrete. But many times I was mistakenly hitting my finger because I wasn't used to it. And it was a very painful experience. And I did that for my entire holiday. The holiday I had before resuming my year 3, I think we had like 8 weeks. So I did that. And lo and behold, when it was time to return to Uniloring on the payday, I got there, everybody had queued, all the laborers who worked on the site, they had queued. And then they said, okay, so they are doing payments. I queued. We've been there since like 8 in the morning. And when it was time to receive my payment around 1 p.m., they say, students, that your ID card has not been properly processed. And it was a Friday. And I wanted to return to Uniloring on Monday, that your ID card is not processed. If your ID card is not processed yet, on this site, you cannot hand your money. I said, which kind of rule is that? What is that? They said they cannot be paid. I thought it was a joke. It started like a joke. I'm telling you, this was serious. I almost fainted. And then from one officer, it was escalated to another. I don't know what issues they had there, but they refused to pay me. So I started crying. I started causing chaos there. They must pay me. I'm a student. I have to go back. I need my money to pay my school fees. I was crying. I was falling up and down, jumping, shouting, screaming. And they were like, what happened? This man just go. I said, I will not go. I need to go back to school. Because I know that I had to keep on. I had the opportunity at that time, to join boys and then, lose focus. But I refused. I said, no, I have come to suffer here for weeks throughout my entire holiday, and I need money and I need to return to Uniloring. It's a matter of life and death. So one man now lifted me up and said, okay, you know what? He encouraged and said, the only person that can help you here is the chief CFO, the chief finance officer of the project. He comes once in a while. He's coming today. If he pays you, then you can collect your money. I said, when is he coming? I started crying. He said the man will come around 5 p.m. All the other laborers had left. I was the only one. And with the electrician that brought me, we were waiting. So the man came around 5:30 p.m. to 6. When he came, we went to meet him in his office. He said, hey, young man, what happened? They said this one, that. I said, so I'm a student in University of Ilorin. I'm in part 3, and this and that. And they didn't want to pay me my money. He said, really? I said, yes. He said, okay. He said, tell me about University of Ilorin. I told him, who's your vice chancellor? I told him. He said, that's by far. I responded. He said, this one is the greatest Unilorite. I didn't know that the chief finance officer is a product of University of Ilorin. I didn't know. And he said, okay, hold on. He now said they should go and call one of the site supervisors, the one I work with. He said, did this guy work? He said, yes, he worked very well. He said, but the guy said he's a student, this one, that. I said, yes. He now introduced me to the guy and said, do you know that the site supervisor is also an engineering student from University of Ilorin? He's a part 5 student. Okay, so what did the guy say? So the guy said, he did this, he did that. So the man said, don't go and pay him alone. Pay him an extra 1 month. I will never forget, the man said they should pay me an extra. For doing so well, because of the recommendation that came from my supervisor. He was also equally a University of Ilorin student like myself, but I never knew. One of the supervisors there on site. And this was how I was paid. And at that time, that money was a jumbo pay for me. And that was what I took. I returned to University of Ilorin. And then before things picked up again, in my part 3, God answered my mom's prayer. Things popped up again. And then life moved on and on. And then most of it became settled. And that was how I was able to finish my degree in University of Ilorin.
Amazing,
This
amazing,
is a
amazing,
crazy
amazing.
story that you made me to remember today.
Wow, one thing I want to say here to everyone listening is that you see, tough time never lasts, but tough people do.
That's right.
Growing up, we know that, of course, the current situation you find yourself will push you back and front. And that is why we have created the global clusters as a place that people can come to and have a kind of a circle. You understand? Every child needs that. Every struggling child out there needs to identify with a spark of close to them so that they can have circle, so that they can have people to give them the right support. And that is why we've created other revolutionary, you know, concepts like the genuine love, like the humanity, you know, so as to aid, people living in our digital space. The global clusters is the first developed digital world that you will be, and you just come in and let us know what's going on and see people offering you things without even asking you, without even expecting anything back from you. I want to appreciate you, Comrade Bolaji Israel. You know, there are some stories when you have to share them. Sometimes tears comes out of your eyes, and I was looking at it and said, people see this great media personality today, don't know that you know there used to be a time that it was like you giving up, but he said no. He said no. I'm going to rough it, you know, and here you are today, adding value not just to yourself, not just to your family, your wife and children, but you are adding value not just to Lagos, not just to Nigeria, not just to Africa. You are adding value to the whole world. We celebrate you, Comrade Bolaji Israel. And we know there are so many other parts of the story, but our time is fast spent. And as our manner is, we need to give time for submission. We need to hear from people. And we want people to start speaking right now. Let's start from Master Genie. What's your take on today's Mind Surgery Revolution? In 1 minute, please. Everybody's going to take 1 minute. In 1 minute, Master Genie, please talk to us.
Thank you very much, our great Ambassador Dr. Adekunle Badmus, the Global President of the Global Clusters. Thank you so much, and thank you for this great platform. Thank you, our OO1 and the speaker of today. That was a great story that none of us that listen to this will forget. I always share with our great clusterans that your mindset come first. Along the line, when you were going through all these hard times, you could have changed your mind. Like you said, you could have joined the bad boys, and things will have eventually gone wrong along the line. But because you have your mindset and you have your goal that you want to achieve, this is why you were able to share with us this your success today. And thank you so much for taking your time to come and share this with us. For everyone that is listening and that will listen later, your mindset comes first before the success. You have to be able to write down your goal that you want to achieve in your life. Okay? Thank you very much for everyone that has listened today. Thank you for the opportunity, our ambassador. That is the submission from the 002 Certificate Revolution of the Global Cluster. Have a nice week, everyone.
Amazing. 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 People were asking of you yesterday. I said, you are in UK. Oh. If you are in Nigeria, you'll have come.
Yes, I saw that. I was sharing it on TikTok. My wife was laughing.
You were ex Master Genie. Thank you very much for all
Thank
you
you,
do
sir.
to contribute positively to humanity. Let's have the AI tycoon. What's your take on today's mind surgery revolution? Plus, Sarah Afolabi Dari David. We can't hear you. Remove the earpiece, please. Hello.
You are muted. You are muted, Mr. Folabi. You are muted. Unmute yourself.
We can't hear you.
Unmute, sir. Mr. Folabi. Unmute. Unmute yourself.
Okay. If he's not available, let's have Cluster and
Sorry,
Forex.
am I am I next? Because I couldn't hear anything again. I was using Bluetooth, so I removed it so that I could contribute.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. In 1 minute, please.
Cluster Sheyi, can you please respond?
Go
That's okay.
ahead,
It's okay.
please. In 1 minute.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, my ambassador, my president. Good morning, sir. And congratulations to us for the anniversary yesterday, and to my brother Sheyi, congratulations to you as well too. Uh,
Yeah.
I just want you to know that you should be watching your back because I am Fares. You know, we are the three musketeers, so we are coming after you. Thanks. You've set the pace. You've set the pace. Thank you so very much for that. You know, you are a role model to us, and we are learning a lot from you. Congrats once again. So, to my comrade Bolaji Israel, good morning, sir, and thank you so much for this wonderful story. You know, what struck my mind in your story is what you said. That you said essential to success is the same, regardless of the age, where you are, where you're from, all the background. You know, with your experience, you show that the power of mind is a key to success. So it's what you put your mind at that will prepare you to success. You did so many things because you want to achieve your success, you want to achieve your aims, and you are eventually achieved it. So thanks for that. And apart from that, you don't only, you know, be the only one to benefit from what your experience has given to you. You are giving it out as well too with your initiative by bringing out boys from drugs, by empowering them with the technology so that they come out of drug and become useful to their life. So thank you so much for this wonderful story. I'm taking it to heart, and you know it's going to prepare me throughout this week and I think forever because it's a very inspiring story. Thank you, and thanks everyone on the call today.
Amazing. Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you very much. That is the voice of Cluster and Afolabi Dari David. Let's hear from the Diction Guru, Cluster and Forex. What's your take in 1 minute on today's mind surgery revolution, please?
Thank you, our global president. Good morning, sir. And thank God for the success of the first 1 year, our 1 year anniversary. We are grateful to God. And our comrade, our spokesperson, thank you very much, sir. And I'm glad Ambassador made you to go the other way, like the part you did not remember, but thank God you shared that part, which really went a long way. Once you take from, there has to be a replacement. That's what one thing I've been able to learn this morning. You took drugs from their lives and you gave them innovation. You know, you give them technology, you give them something to get busy. I mean, to get them busy. So the space isn't left void. There has to be something to replace that thing they were once into or they were doing. You talked about get essentials of success right. And I think this has been the same over time. It has not changed. You also mentioned resilience, excellence, collaboration, attitude, skills, and all those good qualities that helped you. And when you kept mentioning University of Ilorin, Kwara State Police Headquarters, I was just picturing that. So this man has been to this state, all these places, as you were mentioning, I was just picturing in my mind that, oh, these are places that are like my normal routes. Um, when you have had tough times, you never gave in. You took classes, helped your colleagues solve their academic issues, and you benefited a whole lot. You know, the aspect that you didn't need to go hungry. Like you helped them. Once you help
Mm,
them, they give you food, they give you stuff, and it means you were doing what you were using what you had to get what you couldn't get.
mm,
Yes. So, and finally, I would like to just say that the all die na die expression is quite funny, but there's a good lesson to learn there. Like you were citing instances like this. I don't know if it was Esther or somebody who was to fast. She was to go on a fast, and she said, "If I die, I die. If I perish, I perish." But she did not perish. She just picked up the challenge that whatever happens, I am not going back. I am pressing on. You did not allow your situation to get you bundled up, or to let you, I mean, make you fall. You just had to take your stand, and you encouraged yourself. Honestly, like David did, you encouraged yourself. So that means once one there will be a time in our life, or if that time comes in our life, and there's nobody to give you that money or give you that support, you shouldn't give up. You should just still look for a positive way, of course, to go around it. Thank you very much, sir.
Amazing, amazing, amazing.
Thank you.
That is the voice
Thank you.
of the addiction guru himself, Cluster Forex. Thanks for all you do to contribute in the city of Ilorin to humanity. Having said that, let's have our coordinator at First Generation Citadel, the parent of Goodmos Learning Center, and the grandparent of the Global Clusters. So, what's your take on today's mind surgery revolution? Cluster and Williams, please let's have your voice in 1 minute, please. Williams. Okay. If Williams is not available, let's have the 001 review cluster of the global clusters, that is, and the award-winning clusterian Oluwaseyi Odushagu. What's your take on today's mind surgery?
All right, thank you so very much, sir, the ambassador. I really appreciate all you do, the global president. And thanks so much, Ma, Oma Mind Surgery. Thank you, Dr. Michelle Oko. And yes, I dedicate all the awards to the glory of God and to all my friends, and we can all do it. And thank you so much, sir, for all you do. Thank you, sir, Comrade Basharon Baladi Israel. It was so wonderful meeting with you yesterday. And I won't take much time from what you have shared with us. We can see purpose, you can see decision, you can see determination. It's easy for us to blame the situation. It's easy for us to give excuses for our failures in life. It's just so very easy to push blame to anyone. But you have made it, you have confirmed it again and again. Like we used to talk about it here, that you are the one that is the determinant of whatever I want to be. Ambassador should say that even if you are being caused, even if you think that somebody is pushing you, if you are doing the right, if you continually doing the right thing, it's going to speak for you. You have your issues to actually go to the other side, to go to the wrong side, but you know that you have something inside of you. Nobody is useless. You have a potential inside of you, and you use it for the better cause of yourself. Yeah, if you have gone into the fraud side, Yahoo, you have been doing better, but maybe by now you won't have a good consequence. I'm also going to say that there's two consequences for whatever we do. If we do the bad, we might have the good in it, but the consequence will come back later. If you do the good, you have the good and the consequence later. Now you have done your own parts, you have done your own best. Now this is the consequence at the end of your life, and we are enjoying your story. Thank you so very much for letting us know that we have the will for whatever I want to decide for ourselves. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate it.
Amazing, amazing,
Thank
amazing.
you.
Thank you, thank you. Um, we want to appreciate everyone. We spent more than the time we're supposed to spend because of network glitches. We want to appreciate our my surgeon of the day. We appreciate you so much. We celebrate you. We will be awarding you an appreciation certificate from the Global Clusters, which my PA, Cluster Yodushago, will ensure that with the media team, with the multimedia team. He corrected me yesterday. I appreciate that. With the multimedia team so that they can actually give it to you. We thank you for sharing your story. We know that even children yet unborn will learn from this your story because it's live on Facebook, on Instagram, and on X, and on YouTube. So, so they will learn, and the review will come. With the review will not be more than 3 minutes. You understand? Just like the review department will do a short summary of everything, and it will be converted to an AI video. The diction guru will convert it. The AI people will convert it. We have the AI person, and people will get video out of it. And I want to employ the 002 certificate revolution. It's your year, and we have to meet. I need to meet with you and the 001. You understand? Because this year the global cluster has decided to focus on your revolution. On your revolution, out of the 7 revolution, we're focusing in this second year on the certificate revolution. Then from the third year, we'll be focusing on the mind surgery revolution. But we're focusing on the certificate revolution for this year. And we want we want everybody to learn something. We want you to learn something. I want you to, if you are not uneducated, we want to start teaching you in your mother's tongue. In the West, it will be Yoruba. In the East, it will be Igbo. And in the North, it will be Hausa. So thank you, Comrade Basharu Bolaji Israel, for sharing your story. We appreciate you. On behalf of all clusterians and all the 001, I say thank you very much, sir. God bless you, and have a fruitful week ahead. Today, in the evening, we normally have 2 trainings every day. By 5 p.m., we'll be having the survival strategies in the new normal. We wouldn't mind having you again, Comrade Bolaji, if you have
Present,
a
sir.
skill that people
Present,
can
sir.
use, something that people can use to survive in this new normal.
Present,
Any
sir.
of the survival techniques, just like you were able to
Present, sir.
survive when the new normal came to you during your school days.
Present, sir.
The
Present,
new
sir.
normal came and you survived it.
Hello,
It was
present, sir.
not the normal for you. It was the new normal. When it
Present,
came,
sir.
you survived it, and we appreciate that you came out. Or one thing I want people to take home today again is that he did a wrong thing. He identified that he was doing the wrong thing, and he desist from it on time. People don't know when to stop. Do you understand? Situation of life can push you to do something wrong, but not you staying in the wrong space. If he has embraced covetousness, ojukokoro, as my mother's tongue will call it, you understand? So he will have just stayed and say, kiniko, kiniko, and before you know it, he will find himself under the ground. So this goes to all the youth that will be listening to this. Please, what are you doing right now that is wrong? Stop it before that thing kills you. Yes, before that thing drowns you. Only any buruma went to myself. If you are wicked, you know that you're a wicked person. You are only looking for who to tell you. Is there anything you're currently doing that you know that is wrong? Desist from it before that thing gets you into serious trouble. Serious one that you will feel like just leaving the hell. Because there are some trouble you will get. You will say, you won't have capacity. You wouldn't have built, you have not even become to mind surgery to build your mind to be able to handle such troubles. You understand? So please desist from it. And in no time, he was able to talk to himself. He didn't even say in the story, he didn't say somebody came to talk to me. No, he did mind surgery for himself. Now you have somebody shouting from the global cluster. Say, if there is something you are doing before that thing drowns you, stop. Mashemo. Mashemo. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. So please, and I want to appreciate everyone that has contributed. And I want to say, you should have a wonderful week ahead. So on this note, I want to ask, who are we? We are a consortium of professionals or upcoming professionals, technocrats or upcoming technocrats, entrepreneurs or upcoming entrepreneurs, where we share accurate knowledge of our industry. Why? Because it gives us the right power, accurate information, because that is the bridge between where we are and where we ought to be. Accurate connection, because to whom we are connected to determines what we collect. We are not just a social media platform with a marketplace with instant monetization. We are the first nation building social media platform on earth. The first place where we mine professionals, where we mine accurate and quality professionals, accurate and quality technocrats, and accurate and quality entrepreneurs. The first digital social media platform. And we want you to join us. Go to Play Store, download it, and you can go to on Safari. If you're using an iPhone, go to www.theglobalclusters.org, and you can actually join us. There is a one-time lifetime fee that enables you to equally get access to the London Tea Career Institute. A clusterian package is going for 61,000 naira Nigerian money. Maybe that is about 30 pounds. And a vendor package of 81,000, that is about maybe 35 pounds or so. So you can get started. It's a one-time lifetime. If you're listening, you can empower young people in your neighborhood, in your hood, where you grew up from. Someone called me from the US yesterday and said, I'm thinking of some people. I want to put them into the global clusters. Just drop it can be an empowerment for somebody. Just empower someone into the global clusters. Thank you very much. God bless you. I really appreciate everyone for coming by today. And I want to say, have a wonderful day. Let's meet today at the survival strategy in the new normal. Bye for now.
Thank you very much, sir.
So much. Been a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thanks so much, sir. Bye for now, everyone.
See you later today.